Okay, welcome back everybody to another edition of the Savage Kitchen. Today we're going to talk dessert. I brought my pastry chef Jeremy Garcia into this edition with us. Welcome, Jeremy.
Hey.
Today we're going to do a Clafoutis. Well, let the people know what a Clafoutis is. Some people might not know this, and then let's go through this.
Sure thing. A Clafoutis is a French dessert. Actually comes from the Limousin region. It's classically done with cherries, but you can really use any kind of fruit. And so I picked this dessert since we're starting to go into spring right now, and there's lots of fresh fruit out there. And so it's a great way to take some really fresh fruit you got from either a farmer's market or the store and really just make it shine with a really, really simple presentation. It's really easy to make, but it can really impress some guests you've got.
We did blueberries today,
Yeah.
so we got some nice blueberries out there. Blueberries are tasting really good right now too. So, okay, so what are we going to do first here?
Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we're going to make a simple custard. So we're going to take some milk, a little bit of sugar, and then some vanilla bean, and we're going to heat that up, and then we're going to whisk it into our batter. So to start off, I'm going to show you how to prepare a vanilla bean because we got vanilla in the batter here. So you can get these vanilla beans from the store. They usually sell them as singles or doubles. We only need to use half of it, so you can just cut that in half, save the other half for something else. And then to get the beans out of the vanilla bean, you got to cut it in half, like that.
Very technical here.
And then we're going to scrape the beans out into the sugar. So let's go ahead and we can put the sugar in the bowl. And then I'm just going to take the open part and scrape this knife right along there, and that's going to get all those little seeds out. And that's what's going to give us our flavor. Now we're going to save the bean because we can also get more flavor out of that. And we're going to go ahead and just put that in our pot because we're going to cook it with the milk as well.
So those seeds are really small too, huh?
Yeah. But they're going to give you that nice visual appeal inside the custard as well as that really intense vanilla flavor.
Very nice.
And then we just rub this with our fingers, and this is going to help break up all those little seeds into the sugar.
You can smell it already. It smells beautiful. I like the smell of vanilla. I have to say, my sisters played a trick on me when I was a kid. They always, you could smell vanilla. They did a trick. They gave me vanilla extract, told me it tasted just as good as it smells. They were horribly wrong. That was a mean trick. Thanks, guys.
So it's a 1/4 cup of sugar, and then I got 1.5 cups of milk. And then we're just going to throw this on the stove and start heating it up. And while that's heating up, we're going to get the rest of our batter together. Okay. So we're going to start off with 1/4 cup of sugar.
Let's give you that. Let's
get
this out of the way so everybody can see.
And then we've got some all-purpose flour. We're using a 1/4 cup plus a tablespoon.
Okay.
And then we're going to
You
whisk
don't have
these
to
together.
sift that, just kind of mix them together.
Since we're going to end up straining the batter through a chinois, you don't have to sift it. If you don't have a strainer like that, then I would say go ahead and sift it. Maybe take the vanilla bean out as well, so that way it doesn't get in your batter. Okay. But most of it we can just sift out at the end.
Okay.
And then we're going to add these eggs. So if you want to crack the eggs with me real quick.
Of course, mine cracked on the top. All right. Oops. Little shell. Of course, I'm the one messing this all up for you. So.
All right, and then go ahead and
I'm
whisk
playing
that.
trig today. My God. What am I doing?
Whisk that till real smooth. Looks like our milk's almost ready. So the key thing when making a custard, like as with the Clafoutis batter or even a creme brulee batter, is we want to temper the milk into the eggs.
You don't want to scorch your milk though, right?
Yeah.
Just keep an eye on that.
So right now it's looking pretty good right here.
Okay. Is that smooth enough for you? So
yeah, that's
what
perfect.
we're looking for? All right. So you want to do it together?
Yeah. So we're just heating up the milk to get that vanilla flavor out of that bean. And then when we temper it, because if you add all of that hot milk at once, you're going to end up curdling some of those eggs, and you'll get lumps in there that you don't really want.
Scrambled eggs.
So
Scrambled vanilla eggs.
Yeah. So we just pour a little bit in, whisk it in until nice and smooth, and then we can add the rest.
All right.
All right, and then if you want to strain that batter.
I will do that. And what we're talking about for the straining is, this here is this is a chinois. If you have a fine sieve at home or cheesecloth would probably work for this, Jeremy. Would cheesecloth work or no?
Cheesecloth might be a little too fine. It might catch too much of the stuff.
Okay. So we're just gonna pour this through. Okay, and if you can see, pulled all the vanilla beans out, everything that we don't want. We don't need this anymore? We're done here? All right, let's set that to the back.
Okay, now these are individual 6-ounce creme brulee ramekins. You can use any kind of oven-proof dish as long as it's about a cup in size. It's gonna be perfect. This recipe makes enough for 4. I'm just gonna show you how to do 2 of them right here. For all 4, you need only 1 of these containers of fresh blueberries. It's about 6 ounces of fruit. Okay. So we're gonna use about half of this. And then you just wanna spread those blueberries out in that dish nice and even.
Obviously pick out if there's any bad ones or if there's any stems left on, get those out of there for you.
Yeah.
Don't want to bite into a stem.
That's not very fun. Okay.
And you gotta try one.
I gotta
replace. They're good. Replace.
And then we're just gonna pour that batter in there. And you want to fill it up pretty close to the top. If you have a larger dish, then just spread it out evenly between all the different dishes.
Okay. Could you do this in like one big one and cut it up after that?
Okay. Yeah, if you wanted to do like one individual size, if you don't have any dishes like this, you could take like maybe a 10-inch cake pan. Okay. And then put all your fruit in there and then pour the batter on. And any kind of fruit you're using, you're just going to layer that in first. If you wanted to do like peaches or pears or something like that, just slice it really thin, layer that in there, and then pour the batter on.
Nice, very nice.
And then all we're going to do is just bake this in a water bath. So any kind of pan you've got, if you have like a Pyrex pan or like a larger cake pan, that's going to work fine. And we're just going to nestle these in here, and then we're going to pour water in to cook it in a water bath, and then throw it in the oven, 375 for about 20 to 25 minutes. You want it to end up coming out golden brown, like this one right here. The blueberries are going to start to pop, get nice and they're going to bleed into the.
It's almost like they caramelized in
there.
Yeah. Really nice.
And then we get a little bit of that golden color on the custard. And then you also want to check with just by pushing down if it's springing back. If it still feels really loose in custard, you just go ahead and let it cook a little bit longer.
Okay. Do you have to let it rest in the pan in the water for any time, or can you pull it right out?
When you pull it out, just be really careful so you don't spill water on top of the custards. And then
or on yourself.
Or on yourself, and then just pull them out of that water bath, let them rest for just a little bit. They're best served warm, so the closest you can cook them to serving is ideal. And if you they don't do very well overnight, so I would recommend cooking it the same day, probably right before your meal. Right. And then you can enjoy it. And it's best with like a little bit of powdered sugar on there, maybe some vanilla ice cream, some more fresh fruit, and there you go. That's your Clafoutis.
All right, well, thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate you coming in and showing us how to make this nice Clafoutis. And for this recipe and more, go to thecliffhouse.com. And you can research all of last season's recipes, this season's recipes, and remember, share this with your friends on Facebook. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.